microphone there. Yeah, so, I'm sorry, so that one's also the speaker, this one is the microphone. Right. Now we pause. Yes, I think we're still number, whether it be Natalie Meeks or Ravnish. I haven't seen them down in yet.
I have 3 yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Natalie just emailed me. She says, I am here for the meeting. Where should I be? Natalie's yeah, she's here. She's here at the door. So let me see if I can direct her in here. Hi, Daniel. How you doing? I heard about the city has, or had, I don't know, for early retirement, right?
Yeah. I didn't take it. I had too long to go.
Too young, huh?
I still have too much, but yeah. I started because I didn't start.
Is it special? Is it that they give good offer to people to retire early?
Yeah, I think there is certain restriction. I think you had to at least have 20 years of service, close to 55, or at least, no, I think maybe 50. And so I think, and it was pretty quick. I mean, once you gave your signature, I think most people signed up in October, and then I think most people were out by December.
Right. I see that when I see a long list, a lot of people from this department.
Oh, right. We had, the city attorney's office had a few.
Where is she still around? But her name used to be acting city manager. Forget about her name. But she's still around.
Which acting city manager?
I think one of the city managers used to be as an acting city manager. And but she used to be coming to the meeting, the city council meeting all the time, and she was directing that meeting. With the head of the clerical staff, whatever.
Is Christine Rich?
No, she's a Filipino or Asian. She used to be once upon a time she was acting.
Oh, Linda Anvil, city clerk, she's human resources, I think.
Oh, she's human resources.
Yeah. That's
Where's Garcia? Still around?
Who?
Garcia used to be.
Yeah. I think he got promoted. Yeah, he's still here.
Still like
in that capacity, like a assistant city manager. Yeah.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
You made it finally, huh?
Oh my gosh. The security person wouldn't let me in and couldn't get the badge printer to work, so then, it took forever, and then I get in the elevator, and the elevator will no longer take me to the 7th floor. It appears you need a card. Yeah.
I forget that sometimes.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I could run up the stairs. So I got some employee to let me in.
I was looking for you.
Oh, yeah, I found an employee to swipe their badge.
Oh.
Because the security person told me it was in Gordon Hoyt, and I'm like, well, that's weird, but maybe they're doing that virtually, and I was there, and nobody was there. The elevator would take me to the 7th floor.
Sorry about that, Natalie.
That's all right.
I know you're resourceful and you'd make it, but sorry you had to do that. I totally go against protocols, but we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
I'm calling underground conversion subcommittee order. You want to do the verbal call? Yes, sir. I'll be wearing a few hats tonight. We'll do a verbal roll call for attendance. Subcommittee member Meeks. Subcommittee member Armstrong.
Board Member Bala, Vice Chair Barodi,
Here.
and Chairman Abdul Rahman. Here. So we have 3 present and 2 absent.
All right, then we're gonna move to, agenda item number 1, public comments submitted February 24th, 2021, underground conversion subcommittee meeting.
So yes, Mr. Chairman, we have any comments? Submitted.
Perfect, then we're gonna move to, agenda item number 2, approval of the minutes of underground conversion subcommittee meeting of November 18, 2020. We're looking for a motion to approve.
I'll move
I move,
to approve.
I second.
Second, motion moved by Hicks, seconded by, Broad. Yeah, Mr. Broad.
And this is a roll call vote for the approval of the minutes of the underground conversion subcommittee meeting of November 18, 2020. Subcommittee member Meeks,
Yes.
Subcommittee member Armstrong, Vice Chair Barodi,
Aye.
Chairman Abdul Rahman.
Yes.
And the vote is 3 ayes, no nays, and 2 absent.
Motion carried. All right, then, we're gonna move to, agenda item number 3, approval of the recommendation to add a new project to the proposed fiscal year 21-22 underground conversion 5 years plan.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, so we do have a presentation for the subcommittee tonight. And basically an update to where we last left off in our last meeting in November of 2020. Since our last meeting, we provided the subcommittee with an update on where we were with the FEMA grant project. And we asked the subcommittee at that time for some guidance on the next course of action based on the information that we had at that time for FEMA. The subcommittee decided to proceed with waiting for FEMA's decision on the grant project and then reevaluate at the next scheduled meeting, which is this meeting. So tonight, we do have additional updates on the FEMA grant status with the subcommittee that we'll be sharing. And the next piece of the puzzle is for the subcommittee to consider recommending a candidate project for the upcoming 2021-22 5-year plan. So before we jump into the main part of the presentation, we would like to provide a quick update to some of our ongoing projects that are currently active under our current 5-year plan. This is phase 1 of our Tenai Canyon Road Royal Oak undergrounding project. Finishing and excavation is about 95% complete, and electrical installation is currently in progress. This is a photo of the trench work that previously took place on Royal Oak. And as you can see at the very top, there's a pole line there that it's really difficult for our city crews to access during maintenance and emergency situations. So this undergrounding project will definitely be able to eliminate that particular obstacle. Phase 2 construction on Santa Ana Canyon Road have been awarded by the City Council, and it's planned for construction in late April, early May of 2021. Also in construction is the project on Eucalyptus. This project is part of our wildfire mitigation plan and is located within an extreme fire threat zone. Completion is estimated to be in April of 2021. As you can see from the photo, there wasn't a lot of room to work with, and the roadway was very narrow. So this made the construction a little bit more challenging, but our contractor was very diligent, as well as our inspector was very diligent in coordinating with the various property owners and residents, and that any temporary street closures and traffic delays were basically kept to a minimum.
Before we go to the following project, what kind of obstacles in Royal Oak? What is it? This is what, concrete pad, what is this?
Yeah, so that is existing asphalt that we we are digging through. We do have to install some, what we call vaults along the whole pathway, the roadway. So, a lot of them were smaller vaults, not the big vaults that you normally typically see on larger, thoroughfares. These are the smaller toolboxes that we would install to service each individual houses. The issue is that with the big excavator, having to dig the trench right in the middle of the roadway, that narrow, it made it really difficult for delivery trucks, for residents to enter and exit, especially with eucalyptus. There's only one way in and out. So it requires a lot of coordination with the residents and the various property owners there. So one of the benefits of undergrounding is that it gives us the opportunity to enhance roadway visibility by improving, by upgrading LED street lighting. This is a project that we recently completed on Euclid, looking north adjacent to the Anaheim Fire Station. As you can see, the street was dark and unevenly lit. There's pockets of darkness that you can see in the photo. And the after photo shows that there's a big difference where we're able to fix the layout of the street lights to today's lighting standards, where the lights is more evenly distributed. So we're able to correct the spacing that was previously out there to the more updated standards that is meant for these type of roadways. So this is a project that we all have been anxiously waiting for FEMA's response on. If the subcommittee can recall, in our last meeting in November, FEMA wanted us to separate our project into two phases, design and construction. And just to recap for the members that were not able to attend in the last meeting, the reason why FEMA was asking us to do this was because of concerns with environmental impact that the construction might cause. So FEMA didn't want to commit such a large amount of grant money to a project that could either be delayed or canceled because of these particular environmental restrictions. So by splitting the project into two phases, FEMA would be able to provide us with an opportunity to identify potential environmental impacts during the design phase and provide them with mitigation strategies so that during construction, we wouldn't be able to run into these potential obstacles. So we are very excited to share with the subcommittee that we are finally approved for phase 1, which is the design phase, and the official start date is February 5th, 2021. So we literally found out about 3 weeks ago. And the completion date for this is set for August 5th, 2022. And we basically have 18 months to complete the design phase, which basically is what has been allocated from FEMA. The total budget for this design phase is $1.1 million, where 75% of that cost share comes from FEMA, which equates to be about $850,000. And the remaining 25% comes from the city, which is about $250,000. So money that isn't spent in phase 1 can be actually carried over to phase 2 construction. So let's say we don't use all of the $850,000, that money can then be put forward towards the construction side of it.
And design phase includes the environmental, right? So
that is
FEMA will
correct.
have all the answers at
Yes.
that end of that phase. Okay.
That is correct. This is a quick project plan and timeline from phase 1 and 2 to project completion. As I mentioned, we were allocated 18 months for phase 1 to complete the engineering, the plan development, the permitting, environmental analysis and studies, easement acquisitions, and community outreach. Each individual deliverable for phase 1 can be submitted to Cal OES, sent to FEMA once they are completed. So that means that we don't have to wait until we have the full package sent to FEMA. By completing each individual deliverable, we can actually submit that to them early on, and that way it gets the ball rolling on their part, where they don't have to spend a bunch of time later on reviewing the whole package later. So it definitely helps us that if we complete each deliverable at a time and we can submit it to them, it gets the review process going. Once FEMA does have the entire phase 1 package, it could be, Cal OES mentioned that it could be about 2 to 3 months for the approval for phase 2. Give or take, could be more, could be less, depending on what FEMA schedule looks like. As you can imagine, phase 1 was about a year and a half ago. So, 2 or 3 months, I'll take it,
Yeah.
if that's the case. But, if phase 2 does get awarded, and that phase happens to take a little longer than the allowable 18 months that we're given, we can actually request a time extension. So, even though FEMA is stringent on the 36-month overall timeline for the project, we can actually request time extensions if we happen to encounter any unforeseen conditions, during the construction phase. It's just a matter of letting them know early on that we're looking at these particular obstacles that could delay the project. So,
I just have a question. How about between phase 2 and phase 3? Is there any time lapse in between in order for FEMA to approve phase 3, or they will give it to you right away, right?
yeah, so actually the project is only 2 phases. I think the last part is part of that phase 2 where you have the project completion, and closeout. Essentially it's only 2 phases. One is the design and the rest is the construction. And ultimately together, the overall project budget was around $10 million. So since we're approved for phase 1 for 1.1 million, the remaining 9 million or so falls within the construction, which is the bulk of the cost. So that's why they really want to be extra careful with environmental studies and restrictions that might be applicable to these segments, and they want us to do that early on so that it doesn't hinder the construction side. So what are some potential challenges now that we are approved for the grant to start phase 1? And as I mentioned in the last slide, keeping an eye on the schedule will be very important to ensure that we are meeting all deadlines and deliverable requirements set forth by FEMA. We might have potential environmental restrictions such as bird nesting season or protected habitats or jurisdictional waters that we might encounter that could potentially impact our construction schedule. We plan to work with our environmental group and a biologist to perform the biological study once we have our design in place. We will be ensuring that all grant procedures and processes are followed, and which includes tracking costs, submitting quarterly reports, ensuring proper procurement of contractors and consultants, essentially following all the Code of Federal Regulations that are specified in the terms of the grant. So we definitely don't want to jeopardize the grant in any way, so we're making sure that we're following whatever is being stipulated by FEMA. We plan on bringing on a grant management company or consultant to help guide us through that process, to ensure that we're meeting FEMA's every obligation, so that we as engineers can focus more on the project, and ensuring that the design and construction phase goes smoothly, and then all the other paperwork and whatnot will fall under the scope of work for the grant management consultant. So looking ahead and starting with the subcommittee action tonight, we would like to ask the subcommittee to consider possibly adding the 7 overhead segments within adjacent to fire threat zones project to the fiscal year 2021-22 5-year plan for recommendation to PUB. In our upcoming meeting in May, we will present the 5-year plan proposal to, including with the new project, to the PUB for their recommendation to City Council. And then in June to present that, let me backtrack. In June, we will then present that to PUB for their recommendation of the 5-year plan to council, and then finally in July for council to consider approving that plan. And if the council does approve, we would be able to propose a public hearing for the formation of that district in September of 2021. So obviously these are a lot of milestones that we're trying to reach for this year, and all that is dependent on the subcommittee's recommendation for tonight. And that concludes our presentation, and I welcome any additional questions that the subcommittee might have at this time.
Any questions from the subcommittee members?
So, FEMA approved it February 5th or something like that?
Yes, ma'am.
And so does that start their timeline?
Yes.
So do you have authorization to work on that while these approvals take place and you get to council and things like that? I mean, you're able to move forward with the project?
Yes, so the money, according to FEMA, or according to CalOES, is fully allocated
Okay.
for this project. Yes, we do have the authority to move forward with getting consultant on board, going through the procurement process, getting a base map for our design. So all of that is currently taking place right now,
Okay, good.
just to get the ball rolling, because we are really restricted to the timeline that they've given us.
Great.
I just want to make sure I get it right. You're talking about a new proposed project. Do we know about it?
Yes, so the new proposed project is this project, even though it's not so new.
Oh,
because
you're
it
talking
has-
about the one that,
Right, and I think because we didn't formally move forward with that project in the past, just because we were waiting for the grant status, right? So, because of that, it wasn't really considered
yes.
being added at that time. But now that we do have the approval to move forward with phase one, and very likely phase two, we're asking the subcommittee to see if we can do that to add this project.
When we're gonna be.
And that was, this is Janet, that was kind of the timeline. AB, just to elaborate a little bit more, is our next subcommittee meeting. Then we will review the 5-year plan with the recommendation of the subcommittee to add this project, if that's what you decide tonight. And then once we review the 5-year plan with the subcommittee next meeting, then it would go to the PUB, and then following that would go to council.
I got you, thank you.
Yeah.
A question from committee members?
No, I don't have.
Okay, then, we have to move, we need somebody to move a motion to approve the new project, the proposed one, we talk about it already.
I'll move, moving forward with this, project.
I'll second.
Mr. Brawley?
Okay, and this is a roll call vote for agenda item number 3, approval of the recommendation to add a new project to the proposed fiscal year 2021-22 underground conversion 5-year plan. Committee members Meeks,
Yes.
Subcommittee member Armstrong, Board member Bala,
Aye.
apologies, Board member Bala,
Aye.
Vice Chair Baroldi,
Aye.
and Chairman Abdul Rahman. Aye. And the vote is 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent.
Motion carried. Then the next meeting will be May 26, 21. Right?
Yes, correct. That will be the proposed meeting that will bring the proposed 5-year plan.
Thank you. Then we're gonna move to item number 5, which is by underground convergence staff. Janet or?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is John Armstrong present? I didn't quite hear his voice.
Yeah, unfortunately, he is not present today.
Okay, so I'd just like to let the subcommittee know that there's some coming changes in the Planning Commission members. So there will be a change in the representation on our underground conversion subcommittee. So this would be John's last subcommittee meeting. I believe the Planning Commission changes members. The vote goes in the beginning of March, and our next subcommittee meeting is in May. So I was hoping John would be present. I just wanted to thank him for serving on our underground subcommittee. It's been a pleasure to have him. He's always been had a very positive attitude. We appreciated his insight and strategy and project selection. And he really had a focus on customer outreach and communications, which was very helpful for us. And his feedback was very much appreciated. So we do have a small gift for him that we'll arrange to get to him since we haven't been able to get together. But again, I wanted to thank him for giving us his time on this important subcommittee. And this subcommittee makes such a large impact amongst the community. So we will thank John for his service and hope him the best in the future. And that's what I have. Thanks, Vin.
Thank you. And I don't have any
Yeah, but
other items.
I just also, okay, then, we do have an item for town conversion subcommittee members.
I did not have anything.
Mr. Brawley? Vincent?
Nothing at this point.
Mr. Bala.
Mr. Bala?
Nothing. Thank you.
Just for me, just want to echo what Jeanette thanks John for his service. Really wish him best luck. Thank you for his service, and then we're gonna move to nothing that then we have to need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second,
I'll second.
Okay, and we'll do a roll call vote for the adjournment. Subcommittee member Meeks,
Yes.
subcommittee member Armstrong, board member Bala,
Yes.
vice chair Barodi,
Aye.
and chairman Abdul Rahman. Aye. And the vote is 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 absent.
motion carried. Thank you.
Otherwise,
Thank you.